Hi there. I want to share a quick tip with you on working with talent for digital events and conferences. This is something that we do a lot of, a whole lot of, in technical rehearsals prior to the events, and something that's come up more and more as more people have engaged in these sorts of events are the use of panels. Particularly if you think about a four-person panel, let's look at this. That's way too many of me. I'm sorry. But for this example, it'll work just fine. So if we look at this guy down here with the helmet on, if I flash a lower third with someone's name, with some information, or in this case, this is one that I grabbed from an event that I was actually following for a friend who was actually a guest on. I ended up cutting off someone's head erroneously because I didn't realize they were going to flash my content and it was a longer comment. So how do you stop this? Because me, if I were the person, the talent looking at this visually, I would see that happen. I would think to myself, and you can almost hear them, I can't believe they cut my head off. And then I would feel terrible. Like, do they not value me as much? That's not great for the talent. It's not great for someone trying to see their hand gestures. And it only gets worse if the talent is not properly framed for the shot. So let's get rid of that for a minute so that you can see this. In a full frame, what you want is you want to have just a little bit of headroom so that people can wiggle around. And we tell talent that you should see at least 3 shirt buttons on a typical button-up shirt. So that's a general frame of reference. For the headroom, we actually tell them to hold their hands like this, using the thumb, putting it over the crest, the top of the head. If you can see about 2 fingers wiggling above you, you've got enough headroom so that if you shift around, you're not going to cut the top of your head off in your frame. So that's just a really quick and dirty thing that you can tell talent. You should tell them in all technical rehearsals. Remember, 3 buttons, wiggle 2 fingers. You should be good to go for most scenarios. But now let's go back to that 4 box. Let's pull back up that lower third. So you can see that even with that proper framing, because of the way this is set up, you've still cut off some of the chin of that guy in the bottom left. So what are some things that we can do from the AV side? So maybe you have an AV team, maybe you're streaming it yourself. One thing to think about is just shrinking the boxes, depending on what software or hardware you're using for your streaming and to do all of this. It should be relatively easy to bring those boxes up just a little, and then you can at least see everyone's head. You can see at least probably to the top of their sternums, and you can see those hand gestures that the guy's making, right? So that's really important because we want to see hand movement. It's natural for us. Here's something else that you can do, and this is something that they do in, for instance, your local newscast or a larger national newscast. When they have 4 people, a panel, the panelists are all equal, right? So they're all along the same sight line. They're all side by side. And why do I use news as an example? Because think about it. They've been doing this for decades. They know that they're going to have lower thirds. And as the name implies, it's going to take up a third of the screen, right? So they know there are going to be lower thirds. They know there's going to be some ticker tape with information rolling across. So they need to keep everyone higher. So if you're working with an AV crew or if you're doing this yourself, consider when you're going to have this lower third or that you think that it might be a possibility, framing your people appropriately. You should always do that anyway, but you should also work with them or have your AV team work with them to figure out what the placement's going to look like, where each of those boxes are going to go, and what may be an overlay that's going over it. So I hope that's been helpful. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments. If you want to see more quick tip videos like this, please subscribe to our YouTube and follow us on LinkedIn at jfloyd.co. I'll leave links to both of those in the various places that we post this. Once we hit 250 for followers and subscribers on both of those, we'll know that you're interested and we'll do another video. If you really want to help move that along, share this with people who you think might find it valuable, and hopefully they'll subscribe and follow as well. With that, have a great day.